So, if you want to be a top 1% student, you have to be willing to do the things that 99% of the other students are not willing to do. And being a top level student is really good because it allows you to stand out in a crowd of hundreds of other students with the same major, same background, and the same experiences that you have. But then the question becomes how? Like, how do you stand out in a crowd of hundreds of thousands of students with the same background that you have? See, my father used to always tell me that there are millions of miles out there, and what he's trying to emphasize is that there's so many other students who work hard just like you work hard, who study hard just like you study hard, and have very similar experiences that you have. But in today's video, I'm going to outline some of the practical steps that you can take to become the 1% student that you want to be. So let's get right into it. And the first thing to become a 1% student is to show up as your authentic self. So I have a story behind this, but the other day I was on Instagram and I literally searched up my full name, Miles Leslie, and I came to realize that there were quite a few accounts with the exact same name as me. I clicked on these accounts and these were actual real people with the same name that I have. It kind of pours into what my dad said before, how there's millions of different Mileses out there, and it reminds me that you're not the only one with your name. So I challenge you, like, go online when you have the chance on Instagram or just on Google and search up your full name. You're going to come to find out that you're not the only one with that exact name. But regardless if people have the exact same name as you have certain characteristic traits about yourself that make you unique, that make you different from others. Like I mentioned before, although there are other Miles Leslies out there, do the other Miles Leslies have the exact same experiences that I have, or have they gone through what I've gone through? Chances are no. And as I continue to show up as my authentic self, it's going to be very hard to replicate that or mimic that, if you will. So that's the first thing that I would advise you to do. If you want to become a high level student, the top 1%, you need to show up as your authentic version of you because no one can replicate that. So the next thing that I suggest you do if you want to become a top 1% student is to really dive deep into personal development. So what's really interesting about life is I look at life like a video game. Life is very similar to me like Grand Theft Auto 5 or The Sims, an open world reality where you have the ability to develop your avatar. The catch is that you only have one avatar, so you can't swap it out. But what's really cool about this avatar is that you can develop, and this avatar changes over time. You are far different from who you were 10 years ago, and 10 years from now, I hope that you become an even better version of this avatar in your life. But the reason why you want to lean into self improvement and self development is it's going to allow you to continuously get in that state of wanting to become better. It's going to allow you to challenge yourself physically, mentally, academically on so many different strengths and allow you to reach that next version of yourself. You hear many people talk about this, but look at this as like a software update where you're updating to the new version of you. And personal development is going to be the vehicle that allows you to do this. So, like watching videos like this or reading books and learning about the topic are great principles and strategies that you can use to implement and just become a better individual. And the really cool thing about self improvement and self development as a whole is that it really never ends. As you continue to develop into a better individual, there's always more work that you can do. The learning truly never stops, and I think that's a beautiful thing for you to strive for. So, if you want to become the next 1%, make sure you are improving and self developing daily. So the next thing, and this is probably the thing that comes to your mind in terms of the top 1% student, is the top 1% students excel academically. The top 1% students have the top grades across their classes and they show up consistently and they're able to do this at a very high level. What's common amongst a lot of students who I know who are top 1% is that they know how to learn and they know how to learn effectively for themselves. I've talked about this before in other videos, but in school, they do not teach us how to learn. You're really expected to do this on your own and figure out what works best for you. But again, there is a science behind learning. And to make this simple, number one, I will touch on this in a video very soon. If not, I'll probably link it down below. But in the meantime, what I can do is share with all of you a very robust academic paper that outlines how to learn backed on science. And this will really help you if you follow this because this research paper outlines everything to become a high performing learner. So just click the link in my description and I'll send that over to you. So the next thing that the top 1% of students do is they form the right relationships. So again, your college or university or high school is big. It has a lot of different students, but the top 1% students are very critical and aware of who they're forming relationships with. The truth is somebody in your university, college, or even high school, in my opinion, is going to make it big. They're going to do something very big with their life, and they really have the potential to change the world. You want to be connected to those individuals. That individual could be you, but it could be that close friend in your math class or your science class. Now, the reason why you want to be connected to these individuals is not to take advantage of them or pull on them for resources. No, it's because people do business with people who they like and know and trust. So, if you have a group of friends who have strong values and you know their work, it's very common that if they become successful, they will bring you onto that success with them. So, this is something that you should not overlook. Look to form the right relationships. Remember that success leaves clues, and you know a few people nearby you that, you know what, if you had to bet on someone to do something big with their life, you would be like, yes, I'm going to bet on that person. I want you to make sure that you are connected with them and you are fostering good, healthy relationships with those individuals. And going one step further, the top 1% of students look to develop relationships with people who are further along their journey. So this looks like mentors, this looks like professors, this looks like people who are in the position that they would want to be with. So upper students in graduate programs, medical schools, law schools, engineering programs, whatever the case may be. The top 1% understand that they have goals and there's people who have already accomplished a lot of the goals that they're setting out for themselves. So the fastest way to actually accomplish their goals is to be connected with those people who have already done it. This is why I'm a big believer of mentorship, because mentors allow you to kind of streamline your success, and a good mentor will give you a lot of guidance and golden nuggets to really help you propel your success at a much quicker rate. So these students are well aware of what they want to accomplish, but then they also look out and seek those who have already accomplished their goals and look to get connected with them and really just learn from them. So if you're not doing that already, I highly encourage you to start thinking about where these individuals are hanging out. Are they in gyms, libraries? Are they in your classrooms? Are they online? And reach out to them, form those connections, and again, look to be a sponge, learn from them, and try to grow as well. The next thing that the top 1% of students do is they gain practical experience. They understand that school is pretty much like a transaction. They go to school, they pay a lot of money to learn, gain theoretical knowledge, but then they know that they have to then look to apply that knowledge into their desired field. So what does that look like? Again, going out, getting internships, getting job opportunities that align with the work that they're doing or the work that they want to do in the future. And this is super powerful, and I see this time and time with students who get practical experience, because when they go back to the classroom and learn it again, they have already seen a lot of these concepts applied in a real world setting. So it allows them to have a much deeper understanding and do far better than another student who has never done this in real life. This is really helpful, and this can honestly help you become an academic weapon as you continue to go on your academic journey. Look to gain that practical experience and then look to then reapply that practical back to the theoretical to allow you to really hone in and remember those details at a much greater rate. So the next thing that the top 1% of students do is they take care of their physical and mental health. Now, this is often overlooked by a lot of students, especially students who are very fixated on school. They don't want to take care of their physical health, they don't want to take care of their mental health, but the top 1% of students understand that how important this is. There are countless research papers that outline the neurological benefits of being able to exercise and take care of your physical health, especially as that comes into play with your learning. But being able to also regulate your mental health is extremely important. Like, do you have practices in place for when you get too stressed out? Do you know how to internally calm yourself down? Do you know yourself well enough to know what is an appropriate amount of work where you don't feel overwhelmed and really just suffocate in your work as well? Like, these are all critical questions to think about, and the top 1% of students understand these at a very fundamental rate. They know that exercise is important, so they exercise. They know that their mental health is also extremely important, so that they're getting the right amount of hours of sleep. They know what practices that they have to do to make sure if they ever get too stressed out, to take a break from their work or look at it through a different light, go on a nature walk, meditate. These can range from so many different activities, but the top 1% understand how to do this that works best for themselves. So the next thing that I've noticed that a lot of students who are at the top 1% is that they have clear defined goals and actionable targets to reach them. A lot of us have goals and aspirations, but when your goals are specific, I mean, you probably heard the acronym SMART goals. This is a good framework to use to really attach to any of your goals. Being very specific of what you want to achieve, making sure that it's realistic, it's in a timely manner, and achievable are all very important things that these top 1% students are doing consistently. Every single academic year, I have an outline of goals and I have them outlined in a way where they're specific, they're timely, they're realistic, and I know what I'm aiming for each semester, because this allows me to be very intentional about how I go about my studies. And it reminds me, especially when things get hard, what are my goals and what am I trying to accomplish? So if you have not set goals for yourself already, I highly encourage you to do so. And you can use the SMART acronym as a framework to really establish appropriate goals that you can accomplish. So the next thing that the top 1% looks to do again is that they have robust systems for success. If you see someone who's extremely fit, for example, they're ripped, they have nice biceps, shredded six pack, etc., you know just by looking at them that they just didn't go to the gym on accident and then stumble in and get this amazing physique and amazing body. You probably assume that they went on a strict diet, they had a strict training protocol, a strict sleep schedule, and all of this contributed to them having this amazing physique. This is the same thing that the top 1% understands to do for school. Having systems in place that regulate things like your screen time or your distractors, or having certain to-do lists and productivity systems built in within your day so that you can stay on track with everything that you need to get accomplished. This is what the top 1% does at a consistent rate. It is not some fluke or on accident that they do so well and they are part of the top 1%. This is built upon different systems. And I talk about a lot of these systems throughout my videos. So make sure you're subscribed so you stay tuned, because I will continue to outline more of these systems that you can look to implement. But having systems that work for you are extremely important. And one of my favorite quotes that was from the book Atomic Habits, and it was written by James Clear. James Clear mentioned that you do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. And this is so true, because with the right systems in place, this allows you to get things done even on the days when you don't feel like it, even on the days when you don't want to do it. The systems will basically propel you to success. So having the right systems are critical. So we're going through a lot of different examples throughout this video, so if you're getting any value, make sure you hit that like button. But as we continue on, the next thing that the top 1% students understand, the top 1% students know that having outlets are actually very important for their success as a student. There is so much more to you than just school. You have so many different unique interests, hobbies, and things that make you who you are. And it's very important to make sure you are nurturing those things. These allow you to stand out in a group of crowded students, but at the same time, it gives you purpose and fulfillment throughout your day. Joining different sports clubs or having different outlets are huge. And to add on to that, I believe that outlets can actually help you perform better academically. But what's really cool about having outlets as well is that they also allow you to develop different soft skills. So once in a while, I like to go out and have a good time with friends. And sometimes when I'm at an event or a party, I challenge myself to go up to meet someone who I don't know and introduce myself. Now, building this skill has allowed me to get really good at networking with individuals. So if I ever go to a conference or I want to introduce myself and meet someone new, I can go up to them without any hesitation, spark a conversation, and build a relationship with them. And these are soft skills that I developed through exploring my outlets. These aren't skills that I developed in the classroom or while I was studying for that exam. These are skills that I picked up as I was exploring my outlets. So I challenge you to not just completely neglect your outlet. And your outlets are what make you who you are. And you've gained so much amazing skills just from exploring your outlets. So don't lose that, especially in your pursuit of being a top 1% student. And the last thing that I find that top 1% students do on a consistent basis is they're continuously reinventing themselves. You have to understand that to take you to the next level, the version that you are today needs to become an even better version to take you to that next level of success. And the top 1% students understand this. Cutting out things like your bad habits or your distractors that hold you back will allow you to break free and reinvent yourself as an individual. Doing this on a consistent basis, becoming better, and developing into a new software or a new version of yourself is going to allow you to reinvent and keep showing up as a winner, as a high performing student leader. So that is going to wrap up today's video. I hope you all enjoyed. And I was checking my YouTube analytics and I realized that over 90% of you who watch this channel are not subscribed. So if you got any value from today's video, please consider subscribing. But that is going to wrap up today's video. You know what I always say, make sure to always believe that you will achieve. My name is Miles and I am signing off. Woo!